Hello and welcome to Reality Check. Hi, I'm Mark Pellegrino, and today I'm going to be talking about capitalism. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Capitalism is the Boo Radley of the economic world. You remember old Boo from To Kill a Mockingbird? For those of you educated in American public schools, Boo Radley was the mysterious neighbor of the Finches, whose cloistered lifestyle inspired a rural legend that he was a night-prowling, cat-killing, squirrel-eating monster. Like old Boo, legends abound about what capitalism is, where it came from, and what it does. But are those legends true? And if not, what the heck is capitalism? Where did it come from and what does it do? Well, let's see. The legends tell us that capitalism is a system driven by the profit motive. This motive, which supposedly cancels out all moral considerations save for the bottom line of personal gain, naturally leads to terrible social injustices like the exploitation of women, children, and minorities, and to the unequal distribution of wealth, with the moneyed class living off the fruits of another's labor while the laborers themselves are caught in a humiliating dependency spiral called wage slavery. These injustices, as legends imply, are unprecedented and come pre-packaged with the natural social conflicts and pressures built into a heartless, profit-driven system. So you can sum up the legends like this. Ancient man lived in a bucolic garden world where vegan lions frolicked with gentle lambs, no one had to work, abuse was unknown, social harmony was universal, women were equal to men, and children couldn't get dirty if they tried. Then capitalism happened and fucked it all up. Yeah, no. In the real world, poverty was universal. Children were bred less for joy than for economic survival, and women were second-class citizens who were often ruthlessly brutalized during the more or less constant cycles of war. Exploitation was the rule, not the exception. Slavery was practiced everywhere by pretty much everyone, and income inequality was a permanent underclass and a permanent aristocracy who held their social and economic statuses for generations, with no hope of change. Sort of different, ain't it? So the fact that these injustices exist today isn't news. They've always been there from the beginning of time. What's news is how quickly, by historical standards, they are disappearing from the face of the earth. And the reason they are now becoming the exception, not the rule. That's right, capitalism.
What is this?
Contrary to the legends, capitalism isn't essentially a profit-driven system. I mean, if you really think about it, profit has been driving economic systems from the beginning of time. Even the most anti-profit politicians are really just wealth-seeking profiteers by another name. Just ask these rich fellas. So when we ask the question, what is it with respect to capitalism, the legends don't have it. Profit doesn't define capitalism. Systemic economic liberty does. What does systemic economic liberty mean? It means all peaceful human actions and interactions are free from force. The restraint of force is maintained by the recognition, implementation, and enforcement of legal moral principles called rights. And those rights form the foundation of capitalism and its moral justification. A society that recognizes rights in such a way is a liberal society. And this is why capitalism, or freedom of choice respecting human action, was born in the two most liberalized states in world history, England and America, and why America's deeper elaboration on political and economic liberalism made it the most prosperous country on earth.
Oh my God, where did you come from?
Capitalism came from political liberalism, and political liberalism had its origins in the Age of Reason. The Age of Reason was an epoch defined by the primacy of reason in society and culture. The thinking went something like this. If reason could comprehend the nature of the universe and exploit its laws for human benefit, then perhaps everything, from human nature to the instruments of government, could be improved by the application of this newly appreciated faculty of consciousness. And so it was that the ideal of rule by authority and blood and force was changed to service by consent, and the image of man as weak and dependent was changed to capable and independent, and how the impossible goal of general human flourishing became possible.
What does it do? Good question.
It's funny how the creators of capitalism's legends never caught on to a fact that is pretty much self-evident to anyone with intact senses, that wherever and whenever liberalism is afoot in the world, restraining the violence of the political class and legally allowing men to think and act for themselves without appeal to the authority of other men, amazing things happen. A dynamic energy is released that spirals upward and keeps spiraling upwards, not only creating industries, products, and demands formerly unknown, but also wiping out the vestiges of static power structures, like slavery, the class system, and aristocracy. In other words, capitalism is truly progressive. It destroys what should be destroyed and replaces it with something exponentially better. That is, unless you prefer this to this. But if all this progress should be self-evident, why the need for a video like this? Because capitalism has largely been defined by and reported on by its enemies. Capitalism's very name was brought to us by its most virulent critic, Karl Marx. And let's face it, since the moral object of capitalism is self-fulfillment and not self-sacrifice, it has chafed against the dominant altruist ethics from its inception. The claim that you are worth it is a far cry from the romantic vision of self-immolation for the common good, a vision of moral propriety that has saturated our culture in books, magazines, TV, and film for generations. So here's the bottom line. Life has been hard for human beings for 200,000 plus years. In the brief span of approximately 400 years, reason has brought us an approach to human life that has literally transformed everything. But its detractors, old-fashioned romantics all, festooned in the trappings of progressive science to make themselves appear credible, have refused to see these transformations and are begging you to do the same. Cast off the blinders they've placed on your eyes and the prejudices they've seeded into your mind by their legends, and see the reality that old Boo is a pretty decent fellow after all. Check.